Hey class, Mrs. Lowe here again. I'm continuing doing some of your homework problems on page 255. This one is letter 4E. Again, this is factoring, solving quadratics by factoring. And again, what it means to solve a quadratic is to find where does the quadratic cross the x-axis or the x-intercepts, also known as the zeros. And the first step is to put your quadratic in standard form and have it equal to 0. And as you notice, this is not equal to 0. So I'm going to need to add 20 to both sides. And because 20 is a constant, it needs to add to the other constant on the left-hand side. So I have w squared minus 11w plus 30 equals 0. And that is really the only difference from the previous problem to this problem. Now that I have it set equal to 0, I can factor. Now the leading coefficient here is 1, so I can actually factor this very quickly using the shortcut method. Now you do need to know decomposition because when the leading coefficient is not 1, you're going to have to do it the longer way, which is like I showed you up here. Okay, so once you guys have got factoring down, you can use the shortcut method when it's applicable, and in this case it is. So I'm going to set my two factors, w, w. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together, give you 30, and add give you negative 11. And I have negative 6 and negative 5. And this indeed does factor to, when multiplied out, will give you w squared minus 11w plus 30. I'm not done here. I need to set each one of these factors equal to 0 and solve. Because in order for this to equal to 0, one of these factors has to be 0. So I have to find what values of w could make this left-hand side 0. So I set each factor equals 0. I add 5. In this case, I get w equals 5. On this one, I add 6, I get w equals 6. So this quadratic, when you graph it, though it's not going to be completely accurate, I know its two zeros are at 5 and 6. Hence, the graph, the parabola, crosses the x-axis at those 2 points. These are known as the solutions, or the zeros, or the x-intercepts. So there are your two solutions. Factoring is a really easy method, or solving by factoring is really easy if you're good at factoring and if it's factorable. In the next section, we're going to do another method called a square root method, and I'll see you then. Hope this helps.